Hey everyone, this is Jamie from Chucker Fly. I know we're all about muddlers and love them and fish them most of the year, but it's not all we throw. One of my favorite patterns for steelhead is the hobo spay. We tie ours a little differently, but I would demonstrate it. I like it on a tube. Um, yeah, so gonna whip one up here. I just did one before. Sort of some cool flesh patterns, very prawny in the back here. A little different than the traditional hobo. But again, I'm going to show you our version. Colors I'm going to do up from a buddy of mine, Tyler Maz. He showed us a fly the other night. Really liked the colors. Got a chance to test the fly out earlier this week. Really loved how the colors worked together and swam in the river. So I'm going to do a variation of his colors on my hobo pattern on a tube. See how it turns out. Let me know what you think. I like to use nano silk. Nice strong thread. Sometimes hard to get started because it's a little slippery, but doesn't take long. I've just got some regular tubing. This is actually from, can't remember what they're called. Oh, it's a bunch of balloons. Water balloons. I give them to my kids in the summer. They fill them up. They give me the plastic sticks back. They make great tubes. They are a little thicker, so sometimes they don't work with a lot of the bead heads and stuff, so you got to make sure they fit. Cracking up here, guys. Sorry about that. And then I get some junction tubing. I got this stuff off AliExpress. I believe the company is called Chucker Fly. If you're looking for some stuff, they sell some great tube fly stuff. Takes a while to come. It comes from China, but it's cheap and good stuff. Just trying to think. I do a little bump on the back. Just got to grab some dubbing out here. I'm going to use some pink on the back. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to go with pink. My next color is going to be blue. So, sorry, I got my stuff all over the place. A little wax on. Just helps bind it. Spin it on. Nice little dubbing noodle. Just making a little hot spot on the back of the fly. Grab my dubbing brush. Don't want to be too aggressive. Just want to make just a little focal point at the back here. That's all I need to do. Next, so traditionally with a hobo, you've got your hot spot on the back, and then what you do is you tie in a guinea fowl feather here, and then you would run some dubbing over top, and you wind your guinea feather up here. Provide sort of that spotted look. We're going to achieve that with the Amherst a little later. I'm going to tie that into a composite loop. But just sort of build it up. You want something basically so it's easy. It's going to sink down. So it's got sort of pretty sparse. I like this stuff. My buddy Tyler, I just mentioned, his fly, he had some blue deer hair in the back, and it just sort of really added an extra sort of depth of color. And gave sort of that bluey tinge to make it look sort of shrimpy as well. So just to honor his pattern and what he showed me, I'm going to tie this stuff in blue. Typically, I don't do this in this color. I'd use a white or maybe even like a pink. But I really liked how his fly looked, especially from the rear. You know, when you're swinging it, that's how a fish should see it. So just going to give a blue undertone tinge in the interior of the fly, which is going to look really cool. Take it right about there. Lock it off. Get in there with my dubbing brush, just making sure anything that sort of is trapped in there comes out. Be aggressive. If it falls apart, it's going to fall apart in a fish's mouth, so might as well take care of it now. Cool. So my next step is what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a composite loop. I'm going to add sort of some really cool features in. I'm going to add some flash. some white, and I'm also going to add some Amherst in there. So it's going to be underneath, and then it's going to be there to prop up the marabou to make it sort of nice and big. You can see how this one's sort of well propped up. It sort of keeps it there. It's going to keep its shape, give the fly tons of movement when it's in the water. So how do I make a dubbing loop? I grab some dubbing, got some ice dub. I want to go with white. I'm making a dubbing loop. You always sort of break it apart. Try to get all the fibers the same length. And unfortunately, I don't have the camera set up, but basically I'm going to lay it down. I've got a little mat here. I'm going to lay it out. What I'll do is I'll show you on the camera once that I've got it all built. Again, a little more dubbing. Get it all to the same length. Spread it out. The dubbing, I'm going to brush it out, so it's going to help add something to the fly, but it's mainly acting as Velcro. So I'm going to grab this stuff here, a little bit of flash. I'll lay it on top of the dubbing. A lot of times I use, this stuff looks cool. I also use a lot of Predator wrap. Really like that. I just don't really have Predator wrap in a white at the moment. So I'm going to take a good pinch there. I'll lay it down and spread it out on my dubbing. Again, I will show you in a second what this looks like. Next, grab some Amherst. I'm going to put that in there. Don't need it to be too long. Sorry. All wrapped up here. Fingers aren't working well today. Good amount here. I'm just going to lay them again on the dubbing. These ones I ended up going pretty short. I was to do this do this again, I'd probably go a little longer. Just trying to break the fibers up, just spin better. That's what I've created there. Next step is I'm going to take some more dubbing. I'm going to break it apart like I did before, and this is going to go on top, and it's sort of going to act like Velcro. One of my best tools, these are called loop, D-loop pliers. Any of you guys that know me know I love these things, as I love my composite loops. It makes it a lot easier. So what I can now do is use this to slide right in, pick up the whole thing. And then this is what I've got. So I've got dubbing on both sides. I've got the flash. I've got the Amherst here. And I'm going to put that into a dubbing loop. So I'll get the dubbing loop built. A couple times around, it sort of closes it off. And that's it. I got the dubbing loop there. Dubbing spinner. Good heavy one, short. I don't like those long ones. Apply a little wax. Just sort of helps everything bind and hold where I want it. Grab my pliers. And I stick it in. That looks good right there. What I also love about these D-loop pliers is they act almost like a bodkin a bit. So I can really move stuff around. Pinch here and spin like crazy. Basically, I've heard it been said before. Basically, spin it until you feel like your thread's going to break. I'm using nano silk for that reason. It's not going to break. I'm going to get a real good spin. I'm going to use my pliers again here. Just pick out some of these fibers, break them up, get in there. It's going to look real shrimpy, real sort of squiddy as it's all going to flay out. I'm going to give it one more spin. I think that's about the point where I think it's going to break. Sorry guys, there, video cut out there. I must have hit the button while I was combing her out or something, I don't know. There you go. Cool. So next bit, I'm going to wrap on a couple colors of marabou. Got some lighter pink. And just pick off some of the beds. Some people wrap from here. I wrap from the tip. I just tie the tip in there. A couple wraps. And then what I do is I just sort of bring it back, and you're not sort of wasting that tip that's already in there. Again, try and moisten the fibers just a bit. Just helps control them when you wrap it. If I'm smart, I've got a glass of water here. I can just dip my fingers in, but I wasn't today. To get a nice clean wrap, just keep stroking it back. And usually I do 3. I think I'm on my 4th wrap now. That's probably good right there. Don't want to do too much. You don't want the fly to be too bulky. A lot of times less is more. There you go. Next color, just going to go with sort of a darker fuchsia, I think this is. Find a nice feather. Probably not going to do as many wraps with this one because this is just going to add a little bit of color. Strip off some stuff at the back here. Don't have a whole lot here, but that's gonna wrap nicely. Again, I just find the tip here. The reason I tie it in by the tip for me is the stem's a lot thinner at this end. I get a tighter wrap this way. Still holds in. And the stem's easier to grab. It's not going to break on you when you're wrapping. And you usually got the longer feathers at the tip anyway, so you get those sort of in there. Builds up nice. That's 1, 2, and 3 wraps is all I'm going to do with that one. Tie it off. And That's it. Now, traditionally with a hobo, this is where people tie the Amherst in. You can still do it. I've got it sort of built in here. You can see it from the back here. Again, I would have liked the little longer fibers. Still looks good though. Take some crazy glue. Just put it in there. Just a quick dab. My desk is an absolute mess. What did I do with it? There it is, my whip miniature. Grab my whip finisher. And 5 wraps. And that should just pop out. And we'll be in there with a crazy glue. Usually I'd do a few more wraps, but you've got the crazy glue to hold it together. And then finish with a cone. I think I'm going to use a disc in this situation here. And finish the tube fly. I'm just going to leave a few millimeters there, cut it there. Grab my lighter. Hold the marabou back because sometimes you singe it. I'm just going to melt that tube back. It's going to help keep that disc on. There you go. Back on the tube here. And again, grab the brush and go to town. Don't be afraid to hurt this fly. Nice big and bushy. You can see the Amherst in there. The blue, the white. Comb it back. It's going to be super translucent. You can sort of see how that's translucent with the white and the flash. The lighter, the darker colors. And then tube on the end. Gotcha. Super effective pattern, hobo spay. What I love about them on the tubes, I've talked about it before, is if you wanted to go bigger, they're not a huge pattern. It's really only maybe a 2-3 inch max pattern. But if you wanted to go bigger, add a different color, you can line them up like this and you got a big 5 to 6 inch intruder as well. Right, I'd probably just trim this off here, come a little closer, and you'd be fishing a nice sort of intruder-ish look. For the water we fish on here on Vancouver Island, it's not super big. Don't need big, ugly patterns as often. This is what we do. Awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you later.